Hello guys, and welcome back to Reading Club. So today I'm going to read you My Weird School, Mr. Klutz is Nuts, Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. Chapter 3, The Principal is Your Pal. The principal is like a king of the school. He gets to tell everybody what to do and where to go. That is cool. If I can't be a professional hockey player when I grow up, I want to be a principal so I can boss teachers around. My friend Billy from around the corner, who was in second grade last year, told me that principals have a dungeon down in the basement of the school where they torture kids who misbehave. I don't know if Billy is telling the truth or not. But one time, we had gym class and we passed by this open door in the basement, and there were all kinds of scary looking things in there. Michael said he saw chains hanging from the ceiling over a chair with straps on the arms and legs. So I guess that's what Mr. Klutz uses to torture bad kids. I was scared. I had never been to the principal's office before. On the way there, I stopped into the boys' bathroom. Maybe I could dig a tunnel out of the school and escape, I thought. My friend Billy told me he saw that in a war movie once. These guys dug their way out of prison camp with a spoon. But I didn't have a spoon, and I didn't want to touch the floor of the bathroom anyway. Yuck. When I got to Mr. Klutz's office, his secretary made me sit in a chair for about 1,000,000 hours. Mr. Klutz's door was closed the whole time. I wondered if he was torturing some other kid. I didn't hear any screams or anything. Finally, the secretary said I could go inside. I opened the door and was surprised to see Mr. Klutz was hanging upside down from a bar near the ceiling. He had on boots that were attached to the bar. "What are you doing up there?" I asked. "Oh, just hanging around," Mr. Klutz said as he pulled himself out of his boots and jumped down onto the floor. When the blood rushes to my head, it helps me think. Well, I know that blood rushing to your head doesn't help you grow hair because Mr. Klutz had no hair on his head at all. He was bald as a balloon. Mr. Klutz's office looked pretty much like my dad's office, except he had a big snowboarding poster on the wall and a foosball table in the corner. Oh, and he also had a punching bag with a face on it. Come to think of it, it didn't look anything like my dad's office. I kept my head down when he told me to take a seat, so he would feel sorry for me. When you get into trouble, always keep your head down, because if grown-ups feel sorry for you, they won't punish you as badly. Miss Daisy told me why you're here, Mr. Klutz said, but I'd like to hear your side of the story. Miss Daisy thinks I stole some straws, I told him. What makes you think that, AJ? Well, she was all mad at me and she said that's the last straw. Then she told me to go to your office. I swear I didn't take any straws. I don't even know where she keeps the straws. I see, Mr. Klutz said, rubbing his chin. I thought it had something to do with a hockey game that got out of control. And there's this little matter of forgetting to bring in current events. Well, that too. Mr. Klutz didn't look like he was going to torture me. In fact, he didn't look mad at all. You may not believe this, he told me, but I was a boy once. Just once? I asked. I'm a boy all the time. No, what I mean is, I used to be young like you. I bet you were really good in school, I said. No, actually, it was just the opposite, the principal told me. I didn't like school at all, and I wasn't a very good student. Really? I figure that anybody who grew up to be a principal must have loved school as a kid. Why else would you want to hang around school all day as a grown-up, except maybe to boss teachers around? When I was a boy, I could never sit still. Mr. Klutz said, I wanted to run around all the time. I didn't have the motivation to do my homework. Do you know what motivation is, AJ? It's like a motor inside you that makes you want to do stuff, I said. That's why it's called motivation. I guess you could say that, Mr. Klutz said. Sometimes my mother would give me a little reward if I did a good job on my homework. A piece of candy, for instance. You see, while I didn't like school, I certainly did like candy. So I would try hard in school in order to get the candy. Does that make sense to you? Well, sure. AJ, if I were to give you some candy, do you think it might help you remember to bring in your current events next time? My parents told me never to take candy from strangers. I told him, I'm not a stranger, Mr. Klutz said. Did you ever hear anyone say your principal is your pal? If you need to spell the word principal, you can always remember your principal is your pal. Get it? Well, if you put it that way, I suppose I could take some candy. Mr. Klutz reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a chocolate bar. It was the kind with marshmallow inside and caramel. My mouth was watering. Go easy with the hockey and let's see if you can remember to bring in that current event tomorrow, he said as he handed me the candy bar. Don't tell anybody about this, okay? It's just a little secret between you and me. Okay. I ran out of the office just in case he had only given me the candy bar so he could tie me to a chair and torture me. Chapter 4, The Present. When I got back to the class, everybody looked at me. I guess they wanted to see if I was crying or bleeding or anything. Did Klutz bring you down into his torture chamber? Ryan whispered when I sat in my seat. Nope, I said. He gave me a present. What did he give you? I can't tell you. Oh, come on. I promised I wouldn't tell. I'll be your best friend. Well, okay, I'll show you at lunch. During lunch, I sat at a table with my new best friend, Ryan, Michael, Smarty Pants Andrea, and Emily, who cries all the time, even if she isn't hurt or anything. You should have seen their eyes bug out when I showed them the candy bar. Where did you get that? Michael asked. Your mom usually gives you carrot sticks for dessert. Mr. Klutz gave it to me, I explained. He's got a whole drawer filled with them. Why did he give you candy bar? Asked Emily. I could tell she was jealous. Because I didn't bring in my current event, I explained. Wait a minute, Andrea said, all angry and all. You got sent to the principal's office for being bad, and instead of punishing you, he gave you a candy bar? That's not fair. I brought in 3 current events, and I didn't get a candy bar. Maybe you should try not being so perfect all the time, I said. You can have my carrot sticks, Andrea. I love getting Andrea mad. She thinks she knows everything. Whenever we have a homework assignment, she does extra work just to show Miss Daisy how smart she is and to make the rest of us look bad. Mr. Klutz told me he's my pal, I said, biting off a big piece of the chocolate bar right in front of Andrea's face. He said I could come in for a candy bar anytime I want one. That last part wasn't exactly true, but it was fun to say anyway. The principal should give candy to students who complete their assignments, Andrea said, not to kids who don't. Yeah, Emily sniffed. She looked like she might run out of the room crying like she usually does for no reason. I want to go to the principal's office, my best friend Ryan announced. Me too, Michael agreed. I want a candy bar. They all watched while I finished off the candy. I licked the extra chocolate off my fingers and rubbed my tummy just to make sure they would know how good it was. So that's the end of this channel. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please click many likes and subscribe Reading Club. So I'll come back later with a new and improved channel. Bye everybody, see you later!